millions of people who are so different from me. And just because he's my son doesn't mean that I should wish that he were more like me in values. So he'll hobble along, he'll probably die young. You may too, with your smoking. And I wish that were different. But he's chosen his path, and I guess the best I can do is accept that, and once in a while tell him, stop trying to make your path my path.
Yeah. Well, you told us a long time ago that as long as you are happy.
I don't know about even about happy, to some extent. I guess as long as you're not too unhappy, it's like, boy.
Yeah.
If it's your path, so be it. If you get too unhappy, it's like, well, I may help you to try and get out of where you're at. And a couple of years ago, I thought that you were pretty unhappy still. So.
You helped me to get out.
I wanted to help you get out of where you were at. And, there's a time to help and a time that you have to say it's not going to do any good.
Yeah.
So, but I'm not a god, but I think you like the direction your life is going now. I think you like
certainly
the work you're doing. It's using more of your skills, and you're making some money. And if you can get that going so that you can do it several times and less without me, or more and more without me rather, you'll be on your own. And I think you've gained some self-esteem. And I think you've deservedly gotten some, felt that you've been doing some real good work. I'm sure that part of the time you say to yourself, well, I don't know how good it was. But I think overall you have been doing pretty darn good work. So you still have some learning to do. And parts of running a business, you still need to learn, and I don't know if you can. But I hope you can.
I have been learning.
I think you've been learning a lot. I think the area where you may need some help, not sure if you would agree with this, but I think the areas where you may need some help are making sure you act without too much emotion and with courtesy all the time to people that you are dealing with.
Some more logic.
Yeah, there are a lot of times when people that you're dealing with don't do what they say they were going to do.
Yeah, sincerity.
And their excuses may be poor. And
I shouldn't react to it.
No, you should just say, hey,
the same
human.
fashion.
They're human, and so they screwed up, and maybe the excuse was a good one, and next time it'll work out better. But
If it happens several times in a
yeah,
row,
but you don't get angry about it. You wish
Yeah.
them well in the path, and in that arena, you sometimes let your emotions, and you, especially with employees, boy, you really can get angry and upset and so forth.
yeah.
And
Well, when they screw up a job and I end up paying 2 or 3 times for the same job, that's correct.
oh yeah, well,
But
you can just leave them go, you know,
yeah,
and say, hey, you're trying, I know you are, but
look
you
at
know,
what I did with those 2 girls. I let them go.
yeah. And sometimes you can say, well, maybe it's in part my fault. I
Yeah,
didn't supervise them well enough. And I've heard you do that. I've heard you say, well, you know, I guess I should have gone up and watched and so forth. But to some extent, you know, you're learning too that some jobs, it's a mistake to get people who are too young.
yeah,
Uh, They can't paint well. You think, oh, everybody can paint. No, they're going to get it on the woodwork and it'll take you a lot longer and they just won't notice.
yeah. Or care. Even
And
if they do notice, they might not care.
they just don't care.
Yeah,
It's like, hey, this is like my dad, and he might holler at me because I didn't do this right, but he'll always give me money.
yeah. They still get their
No, they're too-
paycheck.
They're too young. If they haven't held jobs for 3 years or so, they don't know what it means.
Yeah,
So, but that's part of it. You know, just focusing for a little while on weaknesses. Yeah, it's evaluating that if they're screwing up, it may be your fault, but you won't make that mistake the next time. You got somebody who's too young, or they had lied about their experience, so they had lied. You know, people do that. That's
yeah,
your problem because maybe you should have checked a couple references or whatever. And
there's also integrity. Age isn't always the factor.
no, it isn't always the factor. But
Just
she's
I've
like,
had girls that had integrity that was impeccable. That they could paint. They love painting. They did it, and they did a good job.
yeah,
And once you tell them how to do it, and they don't
Yeah.
spill it, you know, you have drop claws or whatever.
right.
You
And
tape
then
off or drop
you've
claws.
had many want to work together
Yeah,
and they want to talk all the time, and you tell them they can't, and they just
continue
they
to
say,
do it.
I can. What do you mean? I can. Oh yes, sir. Okay. That's Bruce called.
Yeah.
Shit.
Well, I've had that happen with older people too.
Yeah.
Just refusing to put down a cell phone even.
Yeah.
Oh, that's my boss on the phone, or that my boss is walking around the corner. I gotta go. Yeah. It's,
You know, you need
you
to
let
have,
that kind of person go right away. See you. Here's your paycheck.
Yeah, I think, you know, you need to have a rule. Look, I'm sorry, but I hire a lot of people, and I'll give you one chance to screw up, and if you screw up, I'll give you one chance afterwards, and then that's it. And some people might say, hey, he's paying so little, who cares?
Yeah.
I'll just do it as long as I can get away with it. So, you know, and so part of it is the pay scale too. That isn't all of it, but part
Yeah.
of it may be that. People don't care as much if you're paying pretty low. And then but the thing you can do
And they get boosted up to $10 an hour, then they.
Yeah, the thing you can do is say to people who have more skill and and have more like David Rupico or whatever his name is.